So it's recording now, and then when I press the broadcast button, that'll be us live, and I'll take over at that point. Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our information webinar on the Glasgow City Council Scotland Loves Local Gift Card scheme. Delighted so many of you could join us, and I hope you find the session useful. I'm joined today by Kimberly Guthrie from Scotland's Towns Partnership, by Alex McCrindle from the IT partners Myconex, by Pauline Wallace and Iona Campbell from Glasgow City Council, and hopefully we'll be able to, between us, handle any questions or thoughts you might have as we go through. We've got a little presentation to run through quite quickly, which I'll just share my screen and share with you just now. But hopefully in doing that, we will be all the background you need to have you understand what's happening when, as far as the gift card scheme is concerned. You'll see at the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A function and there's also a chat function. If you have any questions you'd like to pose as we go through the presentation, feel free to use those buttons and we'll either answer them live in the chat function or the Q&A function, or alternatively, we've got some time set aside at the end just to quickly run through any questions that we haven't got to, and I'll pose them to the appropriate person on the call. So with no further ado, just to run through briefly the introduction. So we're briefly going to set out the outline of the Glasgow scheme. We'll then talk about the wider context of the Scotland Loves Local campaign and where it fits in. We'll set out for you the background on the Scotland Loves Local gift card as it operates and has operated for the last number of months. And then we'll talk about the detail of the Glasgow disbursement and how you as businesses can get ready to benefit from the scheme. And then finally, we'll have a Q&A section at the end, as I mentioned. So briefly, what's happening and when? Glasgow City Council, as you may know, is sending out almost 85,000 gift cards, each loaded with £105 in value. And those cards are going to households in receipt of council tax reduction, as it was announced on the 1st of June 2022. Those cards can be spent anywhere in the Glasgow City Council area with businesses who register to accept payment by the Scotland Love Local gift card, and that is any business who has a physical presence. So internet-only companies aren't eligible, but anyone else can register to accept the card, and those cards will start to arrive from the 15th of August. So broadly, just a fortnight or so from now, the cards will be landing with families across Glasgow, and thereafter we'd expect to see them being offered as payment across the City Council area. So that's the outline of the scheme. We've got more detail for you shortly, but just to set the wider context, I'll maybe pass over to Kimberly to talk about the Scotland Loves Local campaign. Kimberly.
Thank you very much, Peter. Yes, I'll start with the Scotland Loves Local overview, which was a campaign that was launched following the 2020 lockdown. This campaign was hugely adopted by BEDS, key stakeholders, and is a primary pillar of Scotland's Towns Partnerships accountability in terms of highlighting the need for everyone, communities, businesses, public, private sector to think, choose and spend locally, and more so for citizens to, embrace that whole programme. It is a message that's relevant for every community and is a force for good in Scotland's long-term recovery from the pandemic. And for us, it allows us to put localism and equality at the heart of everything that we do. The campaign has been instrumental in driving change And we saw that many of you on this call hopefully have saw, the huge amount of media advertising that, has gone on over the last 2 years and continues to do so. So we've had 4 rounds of primetime STV advertising, which has reached millions of households, local radio promotion across every region in Scotland. And the campaign, the hashtag, the messaging has featured in print more than 1,700 times. We've had 60,000 plus visitors to our page, and I would encourage you to have a look at the loveslocal.scot page, and really just to familiarise yourself in terms of some of the key impressions and newspaper advertising that has gone out. And again, just to reiterate, this is a key work stream, a key brand in terms of advocating the whole message around about recovery across Scotland. The campaign itself is not just about immediate recovery, but it really does drive longer term change in our communities right across Scotland. It encourages us for a fairer, stronger, greener, more sustainable community, and really does embrace the whole localism, about protecting local jobs, enhancing local services, encouraging people to shop and live and work and think locally, and really just making sure that we do everything we can in and around about the message of Scotland Loves Local to protect our communities and towns going forward. So for the future, we are working, tirelessly and with all of our key partners. Peter, if you were to next slide, that's great. Really trying to build, some real key messages about driving localism and recovery across all of our, economic sectors. We're in partnerships, multi-sector, with the travel sector, tourism sector, cultural sector. We're working with MyConnects, who you'll hear from in a moment, in terms of driving, a campaign that becomes a way of life rather than just something nice to do. The campaign itself is multifaceted, but the key message from today is to encourage a bit more awareness and give you more information around about the gift card. So at that point, Alex, I'll hand over to yourself to take that message forward.
Thanks, Kimberly. So, as we've discussed, the Scotland Loves Local campaign was born off the back of the pandemic, and from that campaign, the gift cards were launched for all 32 local authorities in Scotland. So, each of the 32 regions was funded a gift card programme by the Scottish Government, and that was mainly sort of aimed towards boosting local businesses and really driving people back to the high streets after a time where many of us weren't shopping, and I'm sure many business owners can relate that there was definitely a significant sort of loss of traffic into the high streets. So that was really the goal behind the gift card itself. So each local authority was set up with their gift card programme, and any business that had a bricks and mortar presence was able to register to become part of that programme and accept the gift cards. So the gift cards themselves are sold via the central gift card website at Scotland Gifts Local, and they could be used for a range of things. So whether that's for gifting, for staff incentives, or for projects like this disbursement one that we are discussing today. The card is so multifaceted, and it's very inclusive in that anyone that's receiving the card isn't facing any kind of stigma when redeeming it, because it's already used for so many things across the board. So as I was talking about there, the gift cards are being used, as you'll know at the moment, for funds disbursement, so supporting low-income households. It's also used widely by businesses who are rewarding their staff. It's also used in general sort of consumer spending for occasions, birthdays, Christmases, and giving people the choice of all their favourite local businesses and also their favourite national brands as well. And could really be used to support specific sectors that have really missed out on footfall in that economic growth throughout the pandemic. So the gift cards have really fantastic potential to face off some of the challenges that different businesses and city centres have been facing throughout the span of the pandemic. So just as an example here, we could see that the amount of money that's moving through the cards could equate to millions going through the local economy. And those that are redeeming their gift cards aren't just purchasing with the value that's on their gift card, they're spending over and above, and they're tending to visit new businesses as well that they maybe wouldn't have had the opportunity to visit had they not been given the gift card. But what I think is really, really vital, and which we'll see a massive benefit of the disbursement, is that the majority of the gift card recipients are redeeming their gift cards, very, very quickly after receiving them. So it's not going to be a massive span of time between the cards going out and seeing that in real time in your business. So just to pick up again and how the gift cards are sold, they're sold via the website online, and they're posted out to the recipients. And in terms of spending the gift cards, it's a prepaid MasterCard, so it's the exact same as processing any other card payment in your business. So there's no special option that needs to be selected on the till or anything that needs to be done over and above. The customer would simply pay by card as they would with any other MasterCard.
Thanks, Alex. Kimberly, back to you to talk about the Glasgow specific scheme.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Thank you, Alex. So just to reiterate, Peter touched on this at the start of the webinar this morning about the Glasgow's £105 gift card scheme. So just to reiterate some of those messages, that Glasgow City Council are adopting the Scotland Loves Local gift card for disbursement of their funding. There's £9 million being distributed to almost 85,000 households across Glasgow this month. I spoke to you as well about earlier on in the call about the importance of the multiplier effect across the local economy, driving growth, and that's jobs, businesses, citizens, communities. We all benefit from this local spend going into our economy. And really driving the longer term business recovery, supporting businesses as we go forward, but allowing each of you and furthermore businesses to become part of a bigger brand, which is our brand of recovery, Scotland Loves Local. You can find out more about this on the link that's on the screen at the moment, but these slides and FAQs will be sent to everybody who has registered for the scheme, for the webinar today. The specific details for Glasgow, which will be of interest to you on this call, the cards will arrive with eligible households from the 15th of August. You will not receive these beforehand. The likelihood is that the cards will be spent very soon after receipt, but if not, these cards are valid for a year. We've used this as an opportunity to help assist all local authorities to help tackle the cost of living crisis or make discretionary purchases. We want to boost local businesses, we want recovery across the nation, and we really want to get the best out of a Scotland Loves Local campaign that benefits everyone. Over 700 Glasgow businesses have already signed up to accept the card, and we expect many, many more. It's free of charge to sign up, and it's no cost to accept the card. How do you sign up? We can share more information on this, but it's all listed on the loveslocal.scot/Glasgow link that's already been mentioned in the presentation and is here again. It's very easy and it's very quick. It's a simple form, and Alex and our team at MyConnects will do the rest for you. So it's not a long-winded process, and we would encourage you to get behind and sign up to the card to enjoy some of this extra income that's coming into the local authority area. Once you do sign up, you will be listed on the website as accepting the card, which is accessible to all recipients. You'll be sent a merchant pack link by email, all social media assets, a Q&A, posters, etc., to allow you to push the message that you are accepting the Scotland Loves Local gift card within your area, and also enjoy the assets that we have produced to help you promote that to your wider or your own business community. There is a helpful support team available by email at info@lovelocal.scot, and they are on hand to help with anything that we may have missed today, albeit that we haven't explored the Q&A, so hopefully we'll cover everything off at that. And lastly, really just to ensure success, this is, a good thing that's happening in Glasgow, and, a huge amount of money going into our local economies. We ask that once you've signed up, you promote participation in your store. Use the assets that we will send you in your windows, on your social media, tell people about it and get behind it. ensure your staff know how to accept the card. It's a simple card transaction that gets swiped or pushed into your card machine, but make sure your staff are familiar with that and what it looks like. And tell all your customers that you accept the gift card. Use all your email lists. Make sure they know that they can spend this with you. Like I say, this is about getting behind, a Scotland Loves Local message. It's also about enhancing a national recovery brand. So thank you very much for today. I'm going to hand back to Peter, who'll manage our Q&A, and we look forward to sharing more with you.
Thanks very much, everyone. So, I mean, my assumption is that I think of those people who are on the call, they're probably in two groups. I think the first group is people who want to know more about the scheme and aren't already signed up. And as Kimberly explained, the way in which you can sign up is really easy and set out in the call. We'll also follow up with a document to those on the call and make sure that you know how to do it. So if you haven't already signed up, now's the time to do it. It's absolutely free. It's absolutely free to accept the card. And bear in mind that this is all going to happen very soon after that start of the week, going to the 15th of August. And then secondly, I think there are some people, I know there are some people on the call who have already signed up, and I know came on the call to find out more about the Glasgow City Council disbursement scheme, and I hope we've set out the key parts of that. Largely is that the biggest piece of news there is the date, so that any time during that week commencing the 15th of August is when you should expect customers with their cards to be coming into the store to spend with you, and hopefully your business benefits. So we've got some questions coming in, which I'll be field to our guests. But if you have any other questions, feel free to put them into the chat or the Q&A function, and we will deal with them from that. First one, which was sent to us, was, and maybe this is Kimberly for this one, which is what kind of businesses are entitled to accept the card? Are there any limitations? Is this about purely hospitality? Is it purely about retail businesses? What are the limitations? Are there any exclusions? Is there any, I suppose, is anyone on the call not entitled to sign up? Kimberly.
Okay, thanks, Peter. So simple answer, there is one exclusion, and that is your gambling and betting businesses. All other businesses are welcome to sign up, and we encourage everybody to enjoy the fact that they can do. So no, Peter, the only exclusion is gambling and betting, and all other businesses are welcome to sign up across all sector.
Great stuff. We've got a message from Asif Ali, who's asking, family businesses of restaurants in Glasgow, is there a limit to how many businesses can register within a company? That's Asif from Mother India. Nice to see you, Asif. Pauline, do you want to take that as far as if there's a chain? Is there a limit to how many of their individual businesses can sign up? Or Alex,
no, absolutely not. We welcome all businesses. If you have more than one unit across Glasgow, then they can all accept the card. Obviously, some people have a number of shop chains where some are out with Glasgow. Obviously, those ones out with wouldn't be able to accept the Glasgow gift card. They can certainly sign up to the wider scheme. But if you have a number of units across Glasgow, then they can all sign up and take the Scotland Loves Local Glasgow gift card.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. Audrey Green. Hi, Audrey. Thanks for joining us. We've already signed up. Well done. Big thumbs up from us. We're looking forward to accepting the cards. Have the merchant packs already been sent by email? I don't seem to have received it. Alex, do you want to just explain what's going out and when, and what will go out before that crucial date of that week commencing the 15th?
Yeah, of course. So when your business initially becomes LinkedIn Live, you get an email to confirm that that's the case, and there is a link to the merchant assets pack on there. But I'm aware that sometimes that may end up in people's spam, or you've maybe just not seen that. So we're going to send a follow-up email that reiterates those assets, and we're planning on sending that a couple of days before the cards go live. So you should expect to see that on the week commencing the 8th of August. If you look out for an email coming through then I believe it'll be around the 10th that we're sending them, and we will send it again once the cards are in circulation to make sure that you've definitely got all the assets required, or if there's anything over and above that you would like, you could email that email address info@lovelocal.scot and we could help you out there too.
Great stuff, Audrey. So maybe check your spam folder if you haven't received it. There'll be one coming out to you shortly, and as Alex says, next week, that hopefully will provide with everything you need. And if there's anything specific, feel free. Actually, generally, if there's any queries that anyone has, feel free to email info@lovelocal.scot, and we'll help you on an individual basis. Someone's asking, actually, this is a really practical question. This might be best for Alex, perhaps. How do customers redeem the card? Can we talk a little bit about the customer experience in the store, Alex, and the retailer processing of it? How does that happen?
Yeah, of course. So the customer would spend their card similar to any other card payment, really, but the cards themselves have a mag stripe on them. So when the customer is paying, they would swipe it through the terminal. Or alternatively, if you didn't have the option to swipe, the card has a 16-digit MasterCard number on there that you could type in manually and process it that way. But we would advise processing it just the same as you would any other MasterCard debit or credit card payment, and keeping it in mind as a sort of prepaid card rather than a gift card, perhaps. That might be the best way to think about that. I see there's another question on there that's related to that slightly as well, which I think we could encompass as well, just from Tony asking if the customers can spend in multiple retailers. That's absolutely correct. They could spend in as many retailers as they wish until the balance of the card is exhausted. So they're not limited to one retailer. As long as they've got balance, they could spend that across as many stores as they wish to do so.
Great stuff. Thanks, Alex. Shona Forbes asks, can you confirm the card is only for real shops rather than online shops? Pauline, maybe you could take that.
Hi there, thanks Shona. Yeah, we are looking at businesses that have a physical presence in Glasgow. They're the ones who we will register that can accept the Scotland Loves Local gift card. They may also have an online presence, as many businesses do now, and that's absolutely fine. But for those that are registered, then yes, it's a physical, they must also have a physical presence in Glasgow.
Brilliant. Audrey Green asks, can we as a business in Glasgow accept cards issued in other areas of Scotland? We do get visitors from all over the country. Alex, that's maybe one for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the cards are on a closed loop system, and that means that only Glasgow gift cards will be accepted in Glasgow. So that's what's really keeping the funds on that hyper-local basis. So if someone in another region, say perhaps they had an Edinburgh card, they could only spend that in Edinburgh. It wouldn't translate over to the Glasgow businesses. So they would have to have a gift card that's relevant for the region that they're within. And that's really the basis of the project, to keep the money centralised and local to each region. So hopefully that answers that question.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex. Asif Khan asking, what about people who do business from home? Pauline. Oh, and maybe Alex better for that one. Alex, so what if I run a distribution company and I do it from my house? Does that qualify?
I believe I think with that one, it's the similar basis that it has to be that they have a sort of bricks and mortar presence. So I think there's a bit of potentially a bit of a grey area there. I would have to clarify that a little bit further, but I'm happy to investigate.
I see Pauline nodding. I think there needs to be some sort of business premises. Pauline.
Yeah, we are looking for, as Alex says, it's bricks and mortar in Glasgow. If you have premises that customers can come to and do transactions with you in those premises, if you're just working from home just to distribute, then it's probably really an online business only. But if you have bricks and mortar in Glasgow and you have customers that can come to your premises, then that's what we're looking for, to keep the money within the city.
And just the development of that, Sandra O'Neill asking, she's a market trader in the Forge market. Can she accept the cards?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
Sandra. As long as you can already accept MasterCard payments through some kind of card terminal, then you're absolutely able to register to accept the card.
Brilliant. Tifik asks a few weeks back, I've been in contact with a local team. My card machine was unable to identify your team. What do I need to be able to do to accept the cards? Alex, that sounds like a tech one for you.
It does. If you're able to give us a follow-up email, just in that context, I'm not too sure when we're saying it wasn't able to be identified by the team. Is it that you couldn't potentially put the transaction through and we maybe didn't have further information on the terminal in order how to do that? We do try our very best to help out with every different type of terminal, but sometimes the best course of action, if you're not sure how to process the test transaction, is to directly contact the company that you've got your terminal from. We do try and collate as much advice as we can, but sometimes going directly to the manufacturer of the terminal is the easiest way to get a quick answer on how to maybe do that on your specific terminal. But if it's out with that, please feel free to send over a follow-up email and we'll do our best to assist.
Absolutely, terrific. I mean, I think obviously the way that the card technology is evolving, there's a new systems coming on all the time. So in the first instance, maybe the best thing would be drop us an email to info@lovelocal.scot. If need be, attach a photograph of your terminal, and we'll come back to you. And if we can't assist, then we'll maybe we'll know someone who can. But in general terms, if you can accept MasterCard, if you can accept a payment by credit card or debit card, then you'll be able to accept the Love Local gift card. David McKee asking, will the customer know the balance on their card at any time if they're using it at multiple locations?
Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah, I'll go for that one. Sorry there. The cards themselves have a QR code on the back and the customer can scan that and look at their balance pretty much instantly. They could also access it via a website, or there's a number on the card they could phone up. So keeping track of the balance is very accessible and easy for those that are using it.
Tony Gohan, what's the criteria for people? I suppose that was, I'm assuming, Tony, you mean what's the criteria for businesses that you can spend in the card? I mean, anyone can spend it in any business that's registered to accept the card. And as we mentioned earlier on, the only exclusion for bricks and mortar businesses to accept the card is that it can't be spent on gambling in any way. But other than that, you can spend it anywhere. Sorry about the cat meowing in the background, if you could pick that up. Joys of working from home. Craig Walker asks, is there a database for business to search for local business accept the cards? The answer is yes. If you go to the Scotland Loves Local Gift, scotlandgiftslocal.com, we'll maybe post that in the chat just now, scotlandgiftslocal.com. Then if you click on that, if you select Glasgow, that will identify all the businesses that you're able to spend the card with. Brenda Kingswood asks, will department stores, i.e. primarily based in Glasgow, be able to accept these cards, or is it more for local businesses? The answer is for any business that's registered, that has a bricks and mortar presence in Glasgow, providing they're registered to accept the card in advance. Tony, right, I understand your question now. It's about eligibility for the cards. Pauline, maybe this one for you is who are the almost 85,000 households that are receiving the card?
Yeah, thank you. Each household, about the customers that will receive the gift card, each household in Glasgow City Council area that is in receipt of council tax reduction as of the 1st of June 2022 will be eligible for the gift card of £105.
Okay, anonymous viewer asks, would it be possible to send a small number of test cards out to foresee any card errors processed? As an example, normally if a card number is entered in the card machine, it requires more details. I mean, we're just logistically not able to send out test cards in advance, but if there's any queries at all over how to process it, as I say, when you get your pack from Alex and her team in advance of launch day, then that will set out exactly how you process it. And if there's any specific queries, feel free to go on to info@lovelocal.scot and we can deal with any individual queries. It really is really straightforward. I suppose the only caveat, as we mentioned in the presentation, is whilst businesses sign up, please take some time, particularly just in advance of the 15th of August, take some time to make sure that all your part-time members of staff, Saturday people who come in, make sure that everyone is aware, so that when someone comes in to spend with a card, everyone, even if they haven't seen one before, that they know that they accept the Scotland Loves Local Glasgow gift card, and that it's so easy to process that you just treat it as a credit or debit card, and it should go through perfectly.
Just to follow up that processing question, Peter, for the person that's asked if they require more details. So the cards have a 16-digit MasterCard number on there. They also have an expiry and a CVV. So all information that may need to be input is accessible to the person that has the test card and is really clear for processing. So if that doesn't cover it, as we said, there's merchant FAQs, which are very, very detailed and really accessible if anything comes up at the time, or if you want to have a little look in advance.
And I've just spotted a question in the chat from Andre Haney. Sorry, is the Glasgow gift card be emailed to each participant? No, well, the card itself is sent out by post because it's a physical, it's like a credit or debit card. It's exactly the same. It will look in all intents and purposes like a credit or debit card. So it's posted out to all those households entitled to receive it. And then they take it in person into the shop to spend it. I think, last one, Jacqueline Monroe. I've just tried to sign up. The registration form isn't showing on the website.
I've just popped a link in there into the chat that should take you directly to the form. It's if you click through there, it should take you to the main page, and there's a button that you click to start the form. And it's a 3-step process. It's all explained on the form itself. But again, there's a support email address if you need any assistance over and above.
Can I just, a couple of businesses had an issue. If you try opening it in a different browser, sometimes that helps because it is a pop-up, and we all love the pop-up banners at the top of websites. So yeah, try opening it in a different browser if it doesn't show up on the browser you're using, is a top tip.
Good point, Pauline. So maybe Alex, if in the chat you'll see Alex has posted, the other Alex has posted the web address. So maybe if you cut and paste that and put it into your browser, or try a different browser, that will hopefully sort your problem. But it's quite straightforward on that page. And again, if you have any problems, feel free to email info@lovelocal.scot. And I see a question, working now, thanks. Excellent, that's what we'd like to hear. Audrey, I've just tried to find us in Scotland Gifts Local and can't see our listing. Alex, I suppose that might just be a slight delay between registration, and you might want to mention how long it takes to actually be listed.
Yeah, no problem. So when you fill out the registration form and do your test transaction, it says at the top of the form it could take up to 5 working days for everything to be fully processed and to see your business on the website. So typically it doesn't take that long, and you'll get that email to confirm that you're linked in live, and at that point you will be displayed on the website. It says you've registered over a month ago. If you're able to give us a message then, Audrey, because that would be a little bit of an out of the ordinary one there, but you're welcome to give us an email and we'd be happy to look into that and see what's happened there. We would say if in the past couple of days, if any registrations have taken place, as Peter said, there's many businesses still registering, and as the website's a little bit busy, it could take up to that 5 working days, but typically that isn't the case. And anything over and above, please get in touch.
I hope you have found that helpful. That's been a really busy Q&A session, but I think we've probably just about dealt with everyone. But I think the overriding message is have a look at the website. It's a really exciting initiative. I mean, full marks to Glasgow, which is setting the trend and in using this scheme to disperse support funding. It's a big amount of money that people will be wanting to spend in shops and restaurants and cafes just like yours. So make sure that you're registered, make sure you're on the website. Any problems at all that you're having with registration or any problems at all, remember that email address, info@lovelocal.scot, and the team will be very happy to come back to you and deal with on a one-to-one basis. And I have one final question from Tony, who's now, I think, on the second question. How do customers qualify for the card? Is it means tested, reserve and qualify? Tony, that's the point that Pauline made, is that in June there was a council tax reduction provided for those on low-income households, and those same households who are entitled to that council tax reduction, they will automatically receive the card. They don't need to apply for it. They don't need to phone in to get one. They will automatically receive the card in the post. Before we get another question, I will sign off. Thank you very much for attending. I hope you found it useful. It's a really exciting initiative. I hope your business benefits. Please make sure, if you're not already registered, that you register now and get everyone ready to accept card payments as of the week commencing the 15th of August. This recording will be made available on the Love Local website after the event, so we'll post it there. And if there's any queries, feel free to email the team, info@lovelocal.scot. Thanks very much, everyone. I hope you found it useful, and all the best for making the maximum success of the scheme.
Thanks.
You. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.